Okay, so there is a letter that is circulating. I found it on Lighthouse News Network of the letter that was sent to President E.D Mnangagwa by the President of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who happens to be still the SADC organ chairperson for the troika of politics and security. So he has written this letter to our president, informing him about the SADC report, and they expect action or things that are supposed to happen in the case of our country. So let us read the letter, and then I'm going to give my comment. It's a very short letter. I'm not going to go into the contents of the other letter. So it says, His Excellency Emas Dambudzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Harare, what. Your Excellency, submission of the final report of the SADC Observer Mission to the 23 to 24th of August harmonized election in the Republic of Zimbabwe. Reference is made to the above stated matter, pursuant to Article 8.1 of the SADC Principle and Guidelines governing democratic elections of 2021. So these are the new rules that are in place. As per the invitation to the SADC to observe the Zimbabwe harmonized election, the Executive Secretary of the SADC, in a consultation with the chairperson organ, consulted and deployed the SADC Electoral Observer Mission to observe the elections held on the 23 to 24 of August 2023. Please be informed, Your Excellency, that as per Article 11.81 of the SADC Principle governing democratic elections, reports are to be submitted to the member states, which means that the report is supposed to be submitted to the country that has been doing the elections, right? And copied to their respective electoral management bodies and subsequently distributed to key stakeholders by the SADC Secretariat. Please note that in line with Article 11.82, member states are expected to consider the SEOM recommendations and may submit responses to the chairperson of the organ. Right? In light of the foregoing, I hereby submit the final report of the SADC Electoral Observer Mission on the harmonized elections. 2. Correspondence should be addressed to the Executive Secretary. Please accept, Your Excellency, the assurance of my highest consideration, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, the President, and it was copied the chairperson of ZAC, Justice Priscilla Chigumba. If you want the SADC report, the final report, I can actually give you that report. I have it on my Telegram. You can also follow my WhatsApp channel. I'll post it on my WhatsApp channel. So please follow the link in my WhatsApp channel on the description below, and you can access the full report, the final report. I'll post it there. So what this means is that there are two things. First thing is, it's either the government of Zimbabwe is going to ignore, but they are expected, as he is the incoming chairperson, to respond to the recommendations. And what are the recommendations? The recommendations were talking about the transparency of the voters' roll. The recommendations are talking about the issue of the delimitation report and a number of things about the Patriotic Act bill, that it impedes on the freedom of speech or the freedom of association. So these are some of the things that are the recommendations that are going to be done. But the question now is, are we going to see an election rerun? It comes back to what I was saying, that the conclusion here is there should be recommendations, and these recommendations could enforce our president to then say, let us sit down with these bodies, whether the bodies of the civil society and other bodies, so that we can deliberate on what needs to be done. This is my assumption. Whether there is going to be an election rerun, that is another thing. But at this point in time, I really think that the recommendations will then force these parties to have a sitting, to talk to each other and find each other. But in the state where the opposition are, unless they resolve this monkey that is on their back of this recalls and this Chabangu thing, unless this issue is resolved, it weakens their leveraging power against these recommendations that have been set by SADC. But what do you make of this report, and what do you make of the letter by Hakainde Hichilema to our president? Do you think that it holds any water to something? Is something happening? Are we going to see happiness soon? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the comments.